Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out People of Reddit. Story 1. I cut my parents off my Netflix. I'm 37 years old and despite being married with a great career and lovely house, my parents felt the need to text me today to tell me how disappointed they are in me and how fat I am. I've not spoken to them in a few weeks and this came out of the blue. Nothing has changed in my life to warrant this shit. My dad texted me, you need to grow up and be an adult and take some responsibility. I did, so I changed my Netflix password, deleted their profile and changed my plan to one device. That's me growing up. Story 2. He's too good for clothing hangers. I am 28F and he is 31M. I am tired of this guy doesn't clean after himself. His work makes him dress formal, so he wears buttons up that hangs from the closet and doesn't put the hanger away so it piles up. Today he yelled at me to clean after him. I told him he is old enough to clean after himself. What he did was dumb because I think he tried to show dominance, threat, and masculinity. Well, it took him 3 to 4 times to break the hangers. These hangers are sold everywhere like Target and Walmart, the white ones. They are easy to break and the cheapest hangers. It was sad and funny to watch because this guy got a gym membership and can't break a plastic hanger. I think his muscles are decorations or flabby muscles. I don't see him as a threat because he is all talk. I am 3 inches taller, and he can't carry heavy stuff like groceries. Well, he broke 2 hangers. So I just hide all the hangers now because I guess he is too good for them. Now he have to find a way to hang his sports jersey, blazers, and button up. I am okay, my stuff is wrinkled and not hanged. I am tired of this man-child misogyny mama-boy behavior. Story 3. I have managed to stop my bully. It was someone from work. At first he just insulted me, then he even pushed me, like that for months. I just ignored him. A few days ago I couldn't take it anymore and I insulted him back. He threatened me. He told me that later in the street he would hit me. He is lame. He doesn't have a crutch but he limps. He doesn't walk well. And I told him, what are you going to do? Are you going to hit with the crutch? And I began to imitate his limp. He went blank. Not only did he stop bothering me, but he didn't speak, not just to me, to anyone. It's sad that to stop a bully I have to become one of them. Story 4. Let annoying kid get what was coming to him. I used to work in a reform school. Basically kids with behavior issues that public schools didn't want to deal with got sent to us. We had one kid who was super annoying. He liked to raise his hand, talk, poke at other kids, basically did nothing to endear himself to anyone. One time in the class I helped monitor, he was sitting behind another kid who didn't talk much but was the kind of person who you probably shouldn't antagonize. Of course he started throwing wadded up paper at him and poking at him and talking to him. I figured instead of disciplining him I would let nature work itself out. After a while the kid he is poking at turned around and very calmly said if he poked him again he would get up and knock him out of his chair. About 15 minutes later he poked at him and true to his word that kid got up and punched him in the head and knocked him out of his chair. It took him a few seconds to realize what had just happened to him. Then he started crying that the other kid hit him and wailing about it. So I made both of them go stand up on the wall, our standard punishment for getting out of line. Never had a problem with him again. Story 5. Update: sexist fill in for a rude surprise. So last time I talked about breaking the tradition of firstborn sons on DH's side by having my daughter here. Well, she's 5 months old and here's what's happened. He's met her several times by this point and we just got done with the annual 10-day family vacation. During said vacation he's misgendered her a number of times. I believe it's an accident because it's so stuck in his head that he was expecting a grandson. He hasn't been mean to her, at least. He keeps saying he wished he had a daughter. DH's mom died when he was little so he doesn't have siblings. Phil does however bring up that she'll have a brother next. In fact him and several others have said she has to. DH has explained to his dad a couple times that since his firstborn wasn't a son he will not be giving our son, if we have one, the name. Phil either refuses to accept it, keeps forgetting, or is sure DH will change his mind. That's pretty much it. Hopefully when she gets older and looks less androgynous, Phil will stop referring to my daughter as he/him/fella/little guy. I guess we'll see how he takes our second kid, either also being a girl or not being given the title of sixth. And if they don't stop pestering me about making the next kid soon, I'm gonna scream. Story 6. Pizza Delivery Revenge. Had a customer, scrawny white dude, 50s, back in the day that was especially awful. Even though we were early/on time, he would aggressively grab the pizza out of our hands, say something insulting, then slam the door in our face. Every driver, every time, no matter what. Made a girl cry once from degrading her and being so intense. So one day I take his food and he says get a real job as he slams the door in my face. On my way back to my car I see his friendly neighbor, black, very athletic build, 30s, 2 kids, smile and nod to me while talking to the neighbor on the other side. So I noted the address of the neighbor's house being only 1 digit off the from dickheads, so I went online that night and signed up for some newsletters/information using the customer's name and neighbor's address. You know, some white nationalist newsletters. I figure there were only 2 outcomes. Clearly the dickhead isn't outgoing while the neighbor obviously talks to the people on the other side of him. So either he mentioned it to neighbors but not the dick. Or he called the dick out by dropping off his mail, which the dick obviously denied it being his, because that's what anybody would do. Story 7. Not using my personal reward accounts for work errands. I work at a small local business, and after a promotion a couple years ago, part of my responsibilities is once a week I go and run around town for various errands. I have always used my own personal rewards accounts, think Safeway/Walgreens/PetSmart etc., because why not? Honestly, I did it mostly because I know cashiers get flack for not signing customers up for those accounts. I also did it because I loved my job and put a lot of love and energy and effort into its best efforts. However, our owner has an amazing ability to stomp any love for the place out of its employees. Despite being so rich he will never have to worry about money again in his life, he always takes such a big issue with money being used by the business. I could go on and on about the various reasons I have been beaten out of being able to care about anything more than collecting a paycheck. He yelled at me once because he thought I had bought myself a coffee while running errands. I hadn't. He misread the receipt. He refuses to pay for my gas despite me using my personal vehicle every week. He yelled at me once for opening the front doors because he refuses to get us AC and we were all reaching dangerously hot internal temps during a busy day. All this said just to put my mental state into perspective, but back to these errand days. About once or twice a month I will go to a store where I need one of the 8-cent bags. To be clear, for an entire month I will maybe spend 30 to 40 cents on plastic bags. About $4 a year. He gave me shit for it, telling me I need to start taking plastic bags with me every week. At first I assumed it was for environmental purposes, but no, it was the 8 cents he was angry about. He told me to use the ones provided. He hadn't provided any, I had to go hunting for some. I am so used to this behavior I just laughed and left with my plastic bags, unbothered. When I was checking out at one store my reward card rang through and the discount of $1.60 showed up. That's when I realized how much money this is saving, far surpassing the bag cost, so, I was on self-checkout, I cancelled the order and rang everything back up, this time without using my reward card. This was so fucking funny to me, and I haven't used any personal savings card since, unless it builds up points, in which case give them here. Edit. I have looked into leaving in the past and fully recognize I am trauma bonded into this place, but at the moment I don't have plans to leave because the owner is selling the business. Smiley face. New dude seems like his head is screwed on straight and it's very likely I will receive a promotion and raise, so I'm hanging on to at least see that transition through. I do plan on bringing up having my gas paid for when this happens because I am aware of the laws surrounding that. Story 8. Grandmother at the orchestra. A few years ago I went to the orchestra with my mom. We sat near the back row. Beside me on the right was two younger ladies and an older lady, 40 to 50 years old, that was clearly with them, all talking together before the show. As the show starts, the girl beside me is on her phone texting and also taking some pictures/videos. I let it slide the first and second time but then politely ask her to put her phone away. The ushers weren't able to see and intervene because we were in the last/second last row. She puts it away although she is clearly annoyed. I start enjoying the show again. A few moments later, she and the older lady switch places. 5 minutes after the swap, she proceeds to take her phone out and straight up start recording the show. At this point I'm just shocked at how inconsiderate and dumb these people are. I let her record a few minutes before I ask her to please put it away. She stops recording. We can all get back to the show we all equally paid for to enjoy. Well, that didn't last long, she starts taking photos. This time I ask her right away to stop or I will get an usher over. She gets upset and starts trying to say something, but I cut her off and say maybe you should try and set a better example for your granddaughters. She was probably their mom or aunt. Well, let me tell you, she was too stunned to say anything else and stopped talking after that and also didn't record anymore. It was too bad that now I had to sit there annoyed. Although I was pleased with myself after my ageist insult. She ended up rushing out of the show when it was done and didn't make eye contact. Story 9. Bank, fees, me to death, so that's the game you want to play, hey? Short, long and sweet petty revenge. This happened around 25 years ago and is still being played out to this very day. The Canadian bank, not sure if I can say what bank I was dealing with at the time, was a good bank to begin with, but after me being there for about 5 years, had started to turn into a bank that raised fees and started to add different fees for stuff that used to be free. I had substantial investments in one of their RRSP plans and those fees also were raised and more fees added. Basically it was fee shit show. I finally had enough of the fees and moved all my investments and banking to a different Canadian bank and closed everything down. Except for 26 cents CAD in one RRSP I had there. This means once a month they have to mail me a statement from that account that has 26 cents CAD in it. They sent me a letter about 15 years ago asking if they should send me a check for the remaining balance so they could close the account. I said no, I might want to add to it someday. By now the costs to just maintain that account and have the statement mailed out once a month is pure satisfaction. FYI, an account with 26 cents in it incurs no fees. At least not to me. I feel good about it. Edit, this got way more traction than I thought it would. Some good pettiness going on in here from all sides. Here is some more. People are complaining that the paper use is wasting trees. At some point it did waste trees, but not with these, and it wasn't me that caused it. Scotiabank uses 100% recycled paper and I recycle it again with my city. It's not huge amount, but it does add up after 25 years of this. Around 300 envelopes worth. All at least double recycled. People say it causes bank fees to increase. Oh please. /s you really think it was me and others like me that causes increased bank fees? Banks and bankers are crooks. End of discussion. People seem to think that it doesn't mean anything to the bank and I am wasting my time. Of course it doesn't mean a shitball to the bank, but it means something to me and that is all that matters. I can guarantee I smile and have a good genuine chuckle at least once a month in this crap shot of a world. That's more than a lot can say. People calling me a liar and some kid from the boondocks, boys and girls, I am retired. Relaxing with a beer in my early 60s. I have no fucks left to give with people like this and they make me smile with how petty they can be. Well done. Haha. Finally the people that shared their stories and experiences with banks and how they fought back. Ha ha ha, some great wins there. Thanks for those. Peace. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.